Hello, dear friend. Here we are, 12 days with the Divine Friend. This is day 10 and a very special day. This is April 14th, 2017, when the world, the Christian world, is recalling the Passion of the Christ. Difficult day. Yes, for those who have true awareness, it is intense. When we revisit the Passion of the Christ, we cannot believe what we hear in the description of the scriptures. If you go to the book Good News by Humberto de Campos through Chico Xavier, it's deeper and deeper. Jesus didn't enact. He actually went through the process for real. Why? We all know why. He came to give us life. Life through a new way of being, a new way of doing, acting, thinking, feeling, speaking. And today we're going to study the very reason why he allowed himself to go through the process like any other human, because he was teaching us the real humanity. And this is chapter 22, titled The Christian Attitude. Contos e Apólogos is the book, not yet in English, but coming about. Contos e Apólogos, chapter 22, The Christian Attitude. We're gonna read through it, but always recalling the very moments in which the Divine Friend coming before us was leading us into the direction of a new beginning. He came to give us life, not only his own physical life, but the modeling of how to proceed. And this shall be defining our lives. We shall change, we shall improve ourselves, because this is the course of life, to improve always. Shall we? Now let me say hi to our beautiful community, and when we go through this, let us search for the points of therapeutic conversation. The goal is always to boost the divine inside of us. You know, like Facebook, boost your post, boost your life. And Jesus is the mechanism. Hello, Ceisa. How are you? Hello, Lea Severo. How are you? Andrea Torres. How are you? Hello, Valéria. How are you? Rihanna, how are you? Katia, how are you, Katia? Beautiful hearts. I know today is a day when many people on the earth probably thinking about chocolate and Easter, but we're not there yet. No. This is the day when we're recalling what happened. Remember, at the Last Supper, Jesus wanted to show how to proceed, serving always. And what did he do? He washed the feet of the disciples. Oh well, it's not easy. It's not simple. Serving others? Sometimes people don't want to pass the salt at a table, a dinner table. Imagine wash the feet and kiss the feet of the person. It's not easy. Right, Marilda? How are you? And Gian Coutinho, how are you? So we're going to read the Christian Attitude from the book Contos e Apólogos, so we can understand why Jesus went through the whole experience of the Passion. Okay? though it doesn't talk about that, but we can conclude by the contents, right? Paulo Santos, welcome, welcome. Ibrahim Ben Azar, the cameleer, entered Simon's narrow home, and before the Christ, who looked at him with translucent eyes, asked for instructions about the good news, to which Jesus responded with the usual sweetness, weaving precious and simple considerations on the kingdom of God in the hearts of men and women. So let's observe what it is. A man who got to know of the good news came to Peter's home, and Jesus looked at him with his translucent eyes. What does that mean? Pure light, the light of the truth, the light of love, the truth and the love. That's how Jesus looks at us. Right, sunshine? Talking about light? Sunshine is here. So, and he asked for instructions. Okay. And the beauty of it all is that Jesus replies with simplicity. Right, Carol Correa and Mark Smith. How are you? And we have Liz Delia. Hello, Liz Delia. We're happy for your birthday too. And Constance, adorable pictures, always funny and fun. Patricia, how are you? So Jesus is always sweet. You know, a man being sweet is unusual. No, I'm not being sexist. But he is always at the frontier. Being sweet, being kind. We're still living 2,000 years later at a time when people admire the toughness of one another. Oh, it's beautiful to be tough. It's beautiful to be like that. I mean, really? And Jesus, for more than 2,000 years, has already told us that the beauty of it all is to be firm but be kind. Kindness, sweetness, gentleness. Even we women have to rescue that. To fight for the same rights, we had to tough it up. But you know, we forgot. We're the ones who need to be firm and sweet. Firm and kind, determined but gentle to teach our children. I was having dinner with Carlos and Virginia. For those who don't know, Carlos is my husband. Virginia is our 3-year-old daughter. And interesting enough, we observed at another table, and this is non-judgmental, but just like observing our humanity. It could be us, maybe us in previous lives. I observed this mother of 2 children, 2 daughters, and another mother of a little daughter. Probably they were around 11, 9, and 5. The 2 mothers were seated at a booth, and the 3 daughters were seated kind of next to them, but not too close, at another table. It looked like the children were by themselves, and the mothers were checking their phones, talking to one another, like they didn't care. We just noticed that they were the mothers because at some point the 2 older ones were sisters. They started bullying the 5-year-old. You know, when they start telling secrets to one another, bullying her for the teeth and this and the other. And I looked at the older ones when they looked at me, and I said, that's not nice. The mothers finally paid attention to the daughters. And we realize why the world is still the way it is. Because we're failing from the get-go at home. When we're not paying attention to what? The moral part of it. Who cares if the child knows how to write and read if they don't know how to respect one another? If they are bullying other children who are younger and weaker, please focus on your children. They shall not be allowed to do whatever they please. Hopefully, many people are waking up to the call. But that's one of the things. We're women, we're caregivers. We are. We can be wonderful professionals, but we're the first caregiver, entrusted by God. We cannot assign it to somebody else. So these are important conversations that we need to pay attention, right? Yes. Hello, Maria. How are you? Okay, now back here. Ibrahim wanted to know how to proceed. And this is something that Mentor Joseph was telling me tonight. You tell these children. I'm not going to go there to their table, but he said, say something. So they never forget your eyes. Your eyes. Caring, but say, no, that's not nice. That was enough for them to stand up, go to the mom. They went to the bathroom, looked at me, and I kept showing that I was observing. Not repressing, but say they would not forget that that was a no-no, because they are immortal spirits and they should know better, right? We have responsibilities, right, Constance? And we can't pass it on to somebody else. Master asked Ibrahim, wishing to know the gospel rules. If I accept this new revelation you're talking about, how shall I behave before the individuals of ill repute, of bad faith? And Jesus answers, you will forgive and you will work always, doing as much as possible to bring them to the level of your understanding, forgiving and supporting them infinitely. Okay. What if they surround me every day? What if I'm always surrounded by people that have not good character, like the moral character is failing, ill repute? You will continue to forgive and to work for their benefit. Master, pleaded Ibrahim, admired. Slander is a brazier that burns our hearts. Let us say that such people hurt me with cruel phrases and unjust notes. How should we proceed when they muddle our way, throwing burning arrows at us? You will forgive and work without rest, enabling the renewal of the thought they have about you. But what if they hurt me? What if violence subjects me to dust and treachery strikes me behind my back? What if my blood runs in praise of wickedness? You will forgive and work, healing your own wounds with the willingness to serve invariably, in the certainty that the laws of the just judge will be fulfilled without prejudice of assent. Disappointed, Ibrahim claimed, Lord, what if A heavy hand of the ignorant man threatens my house. What if wickedness persecutes my family, tearing mine in the most important interests? Hello, Mia Melo, Mila Mila, and Marilda. Let's put a pause here. This is chapter 22 from the book Contos e Apólogos by Humberto de Campos through Chico Xavier, The Christian Conduct. Today is the Passion of the Christ. Not today, it is, but it's the day we recall that day. And why? Many people ask, why did Jesus go through that? This is the lesson. It's telling us. But if people do this to me, if they slander me, what if I'm all surrounded by people who are this, that? He's saying, work, forgive, and work for their benefit. But what if they destroy our homes? You will forgive. These are Jesus' words, no kidding. These are true reports by Humberto de Campos, who was attending school of the gospel in the spiritual realm, said by him in the preface of the book Good News. You will forgive and work so that normalcy can be achieved without hatred, understanding that there are millions of beings on the earth who are afflicted by afflictions greater than yours. And it is our duty to help not only those who hold themselves of our esteem, but also all the brothers and sisters in humanity that the Father recommends to us to love and to help incessantly. Right? Paulo Santos, hallelujah. Thank you. We love our dear Brazil as well. But friends, did you hear what Jesus said to Abraham? He said, yes, but don't forget, your pain is not the worst. There are people who are living worse pains, worse sufferings. We always need to think about it. Yes, I'm undergoing a difficult problem, but don't forget, like Jesus once did, he took one of his hands off of the cross when he was carrying the cross, and he caressed the head of one of the people who came his way and needed his help. We needed to put a pause in our own interpretation of the stimulus that is not comfortable. In neuroscience, we call it the interpretation of pain, perception of pain. You change it. You can change it. Spiritism comes to give us new perspective. He comes to redefine what is suffering is for us. Yes, it is. It's a different angle of life we've never seen before. To the point we redefine it all, and our brain concludes the cortical areas of the brain, which are related to discernment. They're gonna give us back a feedback and say, you know, this is not pain, this is a blessing. You think you lost something, but actually it is a blessing. That's the goal of life. To increase our discernment to the point that we can redefine everything. Everything. The good and the bad, because sometimes the good are not good. If you are receiving a promotion that is going to make your life distant from loved ones, distant from the universal family, distant from your spiritual practices, that promotion not necessarily is a good thing. It's probably a trap, temptation. It's a way to get you out of the pathway. Yeah, it is true. So sometimes the best way is the way that we least expect. It's like we are on a leash. You know, being on a leash is good if we don't know how to tame our instincts. It's good. We can only run wild when free, when we're no longer wild. I know this is hard, right? But it's liberating. Thank you, Maria, for being with us. Rita de Cássia, Nelissa. That's wonderful to have you here too. Thank you, André. We love your flowers. Now, back here. Ibrahim's not satisfied. He's astonished. Are you feeling astonished? He asks, but Lord, what if people arrest me for a murder and theft that I'm not guilty for? What is Jesus gonna say? You will forgive and work always, acting according to the suggestions of the good, convinced that people can imprison the body, but they will never handcuff the pure, noble, and free idea. He's not even talking about the ideas. He's talking about the behind the scenes, the ideas. See, the Master gives us new perspective. He's training your brain, my brain, to boost our discernment, to create new ways of seeing life, exercising new muscles of your soul to levels you never imagined you could do. But you can. Don't forget. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. President Obama is no longer president, but you know. His flag, his slogan is still in our hearts because it's the message of the Master. Yes, you can. Yes, I can. Yes, we can. And will always be able to achieve a higher level. Always. Right? And Paulo Santos is saying, sometimes it's so hard to be far away from bad thoughts. You're right. We need the coach. Who is the coach? Jesus Christ. He is our personal trainer, Paulo. You know it. You need to attend. We all need to attend his encounters all the time. You know, all we need to do is say, I'm ready for you. I'll give an example. Thank you, Paulo, for sharing this. Today, Virginia was saying, Mom, can I have an apple in the afternoon? And then I was like, okay, taking the skin off. And then I reminded myself, let me do it with love. Because usually we do things in the automated mode. And then a friendly spirit who was around, not Mentor Joseph, another friendly spirit who belongs to the family, came and said, Vanessa, practice this action that you do many times on a daily basis, challenging yourself to learn something new. And I said, how new? He said, you know, try to take the skin off without breaking the skin apart. And you have fun doing this, and you put joy into the task. It will feel less repetitive. Man, I love doing that. I was like, oh, well, I'm challenging my brain and my body to go through this process with a new learning experience. Then the bad thoughts disappear, the boredom disappears, and everything else. So wherever I am, I can ask myself, what can I do now to challenge myself to boost my physical, emotional, spiritual abilities to another level? Thus, I'll be creating new neuronal connections. And when I create new connections, I create new habits. New habits only manifest after having imprinted long enough new pathways in my spiritual brain, and they manifest in the physical brain, and thus a new attitude. That's why Emmanuel says, seek the good, feel the good, visualize the good, and then you mold the good with all the resources you can. It's in the book Thought and Life, chapter 10. Right? Rudy, it's a happy night, Friday. I know it's the passion, but it's our passion for Christ as well. For he has not gone through the process in vain. Right? Thank you, Paulo, for asking. Thank you for sharing. Hello, Marco. Well, let's go back to Ibrahim. Ibrahim like us, like, Master, come on. Look at this. It's not fair. What should I do? So, intrigued, the cameleer proceeded. Master, what if they throw me down on a bed? What if they fill me up with ulcers, make me sick, making it impossible for me to do anything? How will I be able to work with paralyzed arms when all we have left is the right to cry? What is Jesus' answer? You will forgive and work with a smile of faithful patience, cultivating prayer and understanding, in the edified spirit, relying on Heavenly Father's protection that sends relief and nourishment to the world's own anonymous worms. Oh, Mamma Mia. Look at this. Book Thought and Life. Hello, Abishare. How are you? Chapter 30 about love. When Jesus is talking about love, the Lord loves the lowly worm and gives the worm many thousands of centuries to rise from the slime of the abyss, just as much as God loves the angel who represents himself. See? Love is love. All we need is love. All we need is love. God's love is all we need. You see, he's saying, but if you're in bed, sick, smile of faithful patience. It's the case of the daughter of a big family named Claire Riviere. In the book Heaven and Hell, true case, Kardec came to know, of a girl who was quite young. She got sick, but she was an inspiration for the family. Go to KardecRadio.com or to iTunes and we have the whole case. You can listen to it. Steve and Selena Shepherd kindly recorded it years ago, and it's there available to you. Claire Riviere. It's so beautiful to learn the behind the scenes and how she was this faithful patience, cultivating prayer, understanding, inspiring the whole family. Right? Kara Correa says she loves the case. Me too. But you think Ibrahim is satisfied? Master, but what if they kill me at last? What if after all the sacrifices, death appears as the inevitable road? What if death comes? Is it good or bad? Jesus is gonna say, you will demand the tomb, forgiving and working in the glorious action for the benefit of all, preserving the sublime peace of conscience. You will not make justice with your hands. Why? We'll see. Ibrahim was feeling stupefied, distressed, and he was like, After a few minutes, he inquired the ultimate question. Lord, and if I am able to do this all, to tolerate the ignorant and the bad people, to help them, to receive their insults as benefits, to offer the light and to those who are in darkness, the good, give the good for the evil ones, to face with serenity the blows thrown against me. If I receive wounds and sarcasms without complaining, accepting death itself, keeping sincere compassion for my tormentors. The ultimate question, what prominent place will I be positioned before the divine greatness? What honorable title will I exhibit? Bottom line, he's asking, Lord, what will I get if I do all of it? What will I be? Will I be a Superman? Will I be the king of the world? Will I be... And Jesus' answer is really unsurpassing, unprecedented, unimaginable. Without altering himself, Jesus considered. Before we go to the answer, the non-verbal lesson. In this, we're identifying with the Spiritist message. We can learn the non-verbal lessons of Jesus. It's not only about what he said, but how he said it. He didn't change his emotions. He was not impatient. He was still patient, still serene, but truthful, teaching us the pathway of emotional administration. People can be like teasing you to the core of your weaknesses. And we're learning with Jesus, we don't need to go there. We don't need, in any way it means, to allow ourselves to feel defeated. Jesus never took it personal. What did he say? After all our duties are fulfilled, fully fulfilled, he said, we will be mere servants of God, to whom belongs the universe, from the grain of sand to the distant stars. Oh, feeling disappointed? No, I know you're not. It's an honor. So after all of it, what happens to us? We're given the title of God's servants. Do you think we are already God's servants? It depends, right? The level. Not all that servant. How often do you think about serving God? How often do you ask about God's will? And I'm asking you, asking myself as well. This is how we feel the scriptures. Do you ask that question every day? God, what's your will for me here? Why am I here? Why do I have to go through this? Like Stephen in the book Paul and Stephen, he was always, and Abigail and Livia in the book 2,000 years ago, and Celia in the book 50 years later, as Carol Correa is saying, tiny servant maybe? Yes, Carol. We are to serve. We're not yet servants. We're yet to consciously serve, to be a willing servant of God. That's the ultimate goal. And to go through this, Jesus allowed himself to go through the passion, teaching us the pathway goes to unconditional service. When you can only teach the world how to go through the ultimate sacrifice by sacrificing yourself. I cannot tell my child, forgive somebody if I don't know how to forgive. I cannot demand that my child, the child that was entrusted to me, is sorry about what he or she has done if I never do this. So I need to do it first. Like the master that received the visit of the mother and the son. And the mother came to the master in this Buddhist tale saying, can you tell, well, they say Gandhi went through this. It doesn't matter who that was. What is important for us is, the mother said, Master, can you teach my child to stop eating sugar? He said, come back in 30 days. Came back. Can you teach my child how to stop eating sugar? To stop eating sugar. And he said, stop eating sugar. And the mother said, well, but that's what I asked you 30 days ago. Well, you asked me when I was still eating sugar. I've cut sugar from my diet. Now I can tell your child to stop eating sugar. How many parents are like this mother? They want the children to do something that they don't do. It's going to be impossible. How can I demand what I don't do? Jesus is never demanding, but he can ask us to sacrifice ourselves for our own benefit because he has done it. He's the real master, the real deal. But you know what happened at the end of the story? Don't go away. Look at this. You'll be surprised. Troubled, Ibrahim stood up. He called the owner of the house. And he asked Peter if that man was really the Messiah. You say, is that really the Messiah? And then the fishermen of Capernaum confirmed the master's identity. Yes, he is the Messiah. The cameleer, Ibrahim, had a green face, as if he was offended. He walked away and left without saying goodbye to Jesus. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Next time somebody comes to you and asks, and you say, forgive and work always, you bet they're gonna leave without saying goodbye. But let's think about this. Jesus could say it because he's done it. Have we done it? How is it for us to forgive? No buts. Forgive. How easy is it to keep working for the benefit of all in spite of ingratitude, etc.? That's the direction. That's the attitude. That's the reason why he came to us. On the earth, if we don't know how to forgive, always, every day, we're going to be carrying a cross of resentment, of anguish, of sorrows, and at the end of our lives, trouble, trouble, trouble. How are you feeling? Encouraged? That's the direction. The direction. The north is forgive and work always. Work meaning be useful always. Be useful always, according to the Spiritist teachings in the book by Kardec. Hopefully you're feeling encouraged. In the next 24 hours, let's make this exercise together, wherever you are in the world. Listening to this, watching, following these messages by Humberto de Campos. Shall we do this exercise together? Whatever happens in the next 24 hours before we meet again, Let us practice this advice by Jesus. Forgive and be useful always. Work always. Shall we? And God willing, we'll be back. Because the next day after the Passion is the wait period. Everybody expectant of His coming back. Is He gonna come back? What are we gonna do? Meanwhile, let's forgive and work, shall we? A big hug and many good wishes. Let us forgive and forget, always working for the benefit of all.